We are live.
Yay!
Hello.
We are live.
Hello and welcome. I am Ronky, your GM, and joining me today in order of their character avatars, we have Nosh, Rigel Kent,
Hello.
Geigerman, and FX Engineer.
Hello, hello.
We are absent one player. That is Mel, our ship's doctor. Today we dive into a Star Trek campaign set in the original series era. We are using the very awesome GURPS system by Steve Jackson Games, and our VTT of choice is Fantasy Grounds. You can find this and past sessions on YouTube and as audio-only podcasts. Links are in the video description. If you enjoy our content, please like this video and subscribe to our Twitch and YouTube channels. Alright, character business. Does Captain Ramius have anything he wants to spend points on?
No, I'm not at the present moment.
All right, Rigel Kent. What about Commander Lorian?
I did. I added body language, detect lies, and observation, I think. Yeah, it was observation.
Okay, all good. Geigerman or Gigerman. Anything for Commander Dallas?
I did go ahead and bump Judo thinking this was the finale, and now it's not, so I did it anyway.
Cool.
Are you presuming you were going to need to judo chop somebody?
I just figured it was the last episode. It was my last chance probably to do that with this character.
All right, well, that's fine. And FX Engineer, anything for Commander Psylocke?
No, nothing for today. Did you hear me?
Yep.
All right, well, if there's no other character business, then we shall begin. You have the first officer's log on the whistle. You may begin.
What if I don't want to? First officer's log, stardate 5341.2. We've intercepted an automated distress signal from an old Starfleet vessel, an outdated transmission that has likely been running for a long time. There is a possibility that survivors or their descendants are still out there, stranded on an unknown world. Lieutenant Commander Dallas has traced the signal to an M-class planet in an uncharted system. What makes this system particularly unusual is its proximity to an unstable wormhole, an anomaly that will require further analysis. We will arrive in 2 days to begin our investigation, and if there are survivors, we will find them. Addendum. Captain Ramius has completed negotiations on Starbase 12. He is en route back to the Lexington. We will rendezvous with his shuttle in 8 hours.
Ronky, you had your channel open, and that was channel commandering his volume.
That's why he was quiet. I hope he was loud enough for people to hear, though.
I heard him. Is he ever truly quiet? I don't think he ever is.
Well, I'm sleeping.
Not really then either.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So we got 8 hours until the captain gets back. So that's plenty of time to ruin things even more.
Yeah. Clean up the place. Make it look like you've looked after the ship. Or maybe not.
Who got into my tea?
Yeah, the automated signal we picked up is just broadcasting a series of numbers 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, and 42. No idea what that means.
So, in that 8-hour period, is there anything in particular that you would like to take care of?
Whatever is normal. I have to remind myself about my character, about who the heck this guy is.
Well, apparently you're the first officer.
I meant in terms of personality.
He doesn't have any.
Yeah, I was going to say, Lorian doesn't have a personality.
Yes, he does.
It's not allowed.
He's weird. People
That's
go, he
true.
doesn't seem Vulcan-y like all the time. Why, he's been known to even tell a joke once or twice.
Lieutenant Commander Dallas is going to do the usual. Study the wormhole, study the planet, sensor sweeps, yada yada.
So,
science.
At this point, you've done what you can with respect to the wormhole. You won't be able to get, sort of more accurate scans until you actually enter the system.
Oh, right. We're not in the system. Am I remembering this correctly, that this system was one that was on one of the maps in one of the control rooms that we ran across?
Not the system that you're heading to, no.
Okay. Then that's a
The
no.
Your final destination is on that map.
Does it involve a plane crash?
It might. All right. Well, assuming nothing else, you will rendezvous with the captain's shuttle.
Right. Bring him aboard. Report the bad news.
Hey, we
Ah,
need the captain aboard sound.
The
yeah, sure. It's good to be
Captain
back.
arriving.
How is everything here?
Proceeding.
Yes. Give me an update there, Lauren.
We are proceeding to insert location here because I don't remember where we were actually going, but we have deviated to investigate a distress call. Further, I have Admiral. What was her last name?
Stoker.
I have Admiral Stoker currently in the brig.
You what?
She confessed to violating several Federation laws.
Oh, dear.
I have already submitted my full report to Starfleet, and they have instructed me to investigate, or us to investigate, the planet she wanted to go to.
And what do they want us to do with her?
They were not clear yet. I think they may be arguing about it. It is not often that a commander puts an admiral in the brig.
Yes, I'd agree. However, thank you for reporting that to Starfleet. We'll let the Starfleet Judge Advocate General's office let us know how to proceed.
If
Very
I-
well.
Meantime,
If I recall, the last message you got from Starfleet was to leave her in the brig for now, and report to this or go to this destination.
yep, and that's what I said. They don't know what to do. They're confused.
Yes, very well. Above our pay grade, I believe. So unless they tell us to release her, and they haven't said so at this point, we'll leave her there. In time, I will go down and have a conversation with her, but not right now. Better perhaps she doesn't know I'm here.
But we should reach the distress signal origin in approximately 38 hours.
Very good.
Approximately. That's not very Vulcan of you. Shouldn't it be precisely?
Like I said, he's weird. If anybody is actually super familiar with Vulcans, they will probably, one of the things they may actually start to really go, wait a minute, why are his eyebrows not upswept like normal Vulcans? Also, is that a hint of a American Southern accent?
So, what does Ramius know about everything that you shared to bring me, the player, up to date?
I will give him a pad that includes the entire reports.
Okay. So at that point, I will turn to Dallas to say, what do you make of all of this, Dallas?
As you said, sir, it's above my pay grade.
No, but you're my science officer. You must have some ideas as to what is the possible nature of what we're facing, given what we experienced, which seems to have triggered this entire, what seems to be potentially a universe-wide alien effect.
Well, as she said, she did indicate that we have reports of the same sorts of thing happening all over the galaxy, or all over the known galaxy, and it's certainly a much wider problem. We haven't observed any of this in action, with the exception of those few incidents where we were dirt side next to one of the monoliths. Yeah, at this point, we don't actually have any new information outside of the overall scope.
Right. Do you remember approximately what was the range of the seeming tractor beam that caught us before?
I don't recall if we specified, but I believe we were in low planetary orbit at that point.
Well, Dallas has an eidetic memory, doesn't he?
Well, the player doesn't, though, and we probably weren't told.
You were in orbit, so you know
Yes,
the
but
range is at least orbit.
You can orbit at varying altitudes.
I'm going to suggest that when we get into the system, that we stay back. We monitor from afar for just a little while. I think if we could potentially pick up anything of a signature of that alien structure again, we best just keep our distance.
Well,
Yes,
I suppose
that'll be-
we should keep our eyes out for strange alien hives then.
That will be for next episode, though. This episode, we're deviating to a distress signal.
Every time we enter a system, something bad happens.
Well, I think you've destroyed 2 systems so far.
Let's
two
add
for 2, I think.
let's add a third.
Does
Yeah.
that mean we can, like, paint some planets on our hull?
I think yes.
That'll be frowned upon.
Let's
Why do they
proceed.
have 2 planets symbols? They've destroyed 2
small.
planets.
Let's proceed. And yeah, when we come out of warp, let's make sure we're away from the planet.
Well, first we have to investigate the distress signal.
Is that not on the planet, or it's coming from the system?
No, this is a different episode. The original planet, I don't remember where we were supposed to go to. Do you know that off the top of your head, Ronky?
I do not. I don't think it's actually named. I believe it's an uncharted system.
Right.
Well,
So Uncharted System is the season finale, but this is the episode right before the season finale, where we are investigating the automated distress signal from an old Starfleet vessel.
Yes, but then in your log, you've got that Dallas has traced the signal to an M-class planet.
Yes, that's where we're going for the distress signal.
Okay. That where the vessel is?
We don't know if it's a vessel. Well,
All right.
it's originally from an old Starfleet vessel, but we don't know if it's
Okay.
still a vessel.
Yeah, I had I had to read that a few times to get all that straight.
I do seem to recall their logs were confusing. I think the previous episode just confused the snot out of me because it referred to one ship and then like 2 paragraphs down it referred to a different ship and it didn't say why it did that. And Ronky
Right,
had to
yeah,
clear
that
it
one.
up. Where
Well, in this
she
case-
arrived in ship A, but she stole a shuttle from ship B. And it doesn't say any of that. And it's like, what? Huh?
So in this case, we have a distress signal that we have traced to a planet, and that signal, however we have done so, has been identified as belonging to an old ship.
So we are going to a planet. Yes?
One hopes.
There is a planet.
Okay. So my order stands. When we get in the system, let's just stay out some distance and see what we can scan. 38
Alrighty.
hours. What will we do in 38 hours?
Land party in the holodeck?
Definitely a montage moment.
All right. So unless there's something specific that you want to do pre-arriving at this location, we shall just fast forward some 30-something hours.
Considering what Rigel said, I think the montage should include Lorian in his room plucking his eyebrows and improving his Spanish accent.
Nope.
Oh, actually, now that I'm looking at this image, I should have taken the time to blur out the ship in it.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, you had all this time.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, just slap a box over it.
Throw it into GIMP and do it really quick while talking and vamping.
Yeah, no, I'm not that dedicated. All right, so you will drop out of warp in this system, and you will see a unstable wormhole which has an M-class planet nearby. In the image of the wormhole there, you can see a NX-class ship, but your eyes deceive you. You do not see an NX-class ship.
Okay. It's a planet that looks like an N-class ship.
Wait, so the sensors show us one thing, visuals different?
No. Sensors haven't shown you anything yet.
The GM was just lazy.
And if I recall, this will actually give Dallas the opportunity to succeed these sensor rolls because he failed them last time.
I take it we're doing that again. Anybody want to place bets on this one?
Well, Mel should really be here for this, but nope, go for it.
No. I wonder how this will go without her here. Maybe my rolls will be better suddenly. Or they could be worse.
Is there anything that I can do to aid? I do have sensors at 12.
I think we'll be okay, he says cautiously.
I have sensors of 13.
Well, I made it by 7 with my 14. Eat that.
Okay, you will begin your sensor sweep trying to locate the source of the emergency signal. It is in fact from the surface of the planet. Succeed by 7, so that's plenty enough. Sensors will detect what is a debris field of Romulan origin, and this is near what appears to be a crash site of an old Earth shuttle pod.
So there's a debris field of Romulan origin, meaning the debris is Romulan, like space junk?
Well, it's of Romulan origin. You're not sure if it's just space junk or it's a debris field from a crash or what. But there is debris scattered on the surface, and it is of Romulan origin. It is near what appears to be the crash site of an old Earth shuttle pod, and this is I can't remember what class the shuttle pod the NX class ships had.
Right, okay. That old Earth.
That old Earth, yes.
So, how do we know it's Romulan?
Well, I don't know. It's got Romulan alloys in it.
But we don't
So-
know what it is.
It's debris of Romulan alloys. For some reason, a micrometeor punches through the ship's deflectors and kills Dallas.
Why am I not surprised?
The shuttle pod appears to be intact and is functioning in low power mode. It is the source of the emergency beacon. The planet itself does not seem to harbor any intelligent life forms, but there is one human near the crash site.
Can we determine how old this potential crash site is with our sensors in any way, shape, or form?
I would imagine we could, well, actually, what
I'm
kind
not
of,
sure
said this
how
was
you'll
an
do that.
M-class planet, so it has atmosphere and weather, so we could potentially survey the erosion around the site and possibly estimate a date.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if this thing crashed, now one should be able to get a sense. Like, did this happen last week, or are we talking like months or possibly longer?
If we
We
confirm
might have to
that
get
it's
closer,
a,
though.
if we confirm that it's a shuttle pod from an NX class, we can easily determine that this is at least 100 years old because they were only operational until the early 2160s.
True, we could start there. Why is there a map? We don't need a map.
This is your scan. No, there's no
I
grid
don't
on
see
it.
any scan lines.
That doesn't mean there won't be a grid on it.
That'll be really helpful of the Lexington's computers to put grid lines on there.
You can certainly get the Lexington to do that. You press the button for grid,
Of course we do. That's how we measure things.
and lo and behold, there's a grid.
It disappeared.
It disappeared on me. Did it crash?
You're not seeing the grid?
Not seeing the map.
The image
The map
closed.
went away.
There it is.
Oh, that's what that button does.
The big button marked X.
There's actually a button in the menu now that for sharing and unsharing.
Oh,
Is there?
It's,
Oh.
That's
it's right
cool.
next to the lock button.
yeah, that's about right. I give the captain exact measurements of the crash site.
Oh, wow.
With your success by 7, your sensors will also determine that the planet's surface has fairly recently had tectonic plate shifts that have caused, worldwide earthquakes and tsunamis. It is possible that these uh, plate shifts and such are a result of this wormhole appearing
Right.
nearby. There's also a bunch of volcanic activity, and this is world spanning, uh, obviously affecting both landscape and climate. The world
Right.
appears to be cooling.
Cooling.
If we can see that shuttle, then let's get a determination of when the shuttle was built and when was it listed as lost.
Oh no, it says NX-01 on the wing. Crap, that means we're gonna run into Lorian's alternate self from that episode in Enterprise.
So be the Lorian with Vulcan eyelashes or eyebrows.
Nope, he looks exactly like the PC. Because I just used the picture and changed his clothes or his clothes. Yeah, his jacket color.
Okay. Then.
But you see, he does have a valid point. If these shuttle pods have the registry numbers on the wings, we should be able to identify what the registry number is if
That's
it
true.
is present, and immediately identify it based off of our database.
All right, so you will not be able to do that since the condition of this shuttle pod over, however long it's been here,
Right.
has
That
long
part of the wing is
since
broken off.
since worn off the paint.
All right. So
I'm
my
sure
next,
an away team to the surface.
well, my first before we even do that, my next suggestion would be for communications to see if they can raise anybody there.
Communications will try and hail anyone, and it'll fall on deaf ears. There's no response.
So we sense one human life form, correct?
Yes, you do sense one human life form.
Okay. And
Detect, not sense.
and um, and we can't see the numbers on the shuttle, but surely by looking at the shuttle itself and its form, it would be like looking back at a '64 Cadillac and going, "Okay, it's from the '60s."
Yes.
So what can we
sort
determine?
of over 100 years old.
Okay, so
I think
whoever's
that's
down,
100 odd years old since
Yeah.
they were decommissioned.
right?
Yeah.
So whoever's down there either is someone's descendant, or we've got a very very strange enhanced life form that appears human.
Yes.
It's
Well,
like
we are
Jim,
sitting next
but
to a
not as we
wormhole.
know it.
But yeah, if Captain Ramius asks, what do we know about these old shuttle pods, then Commander Lorian will just start rattling off the statistics about these old things. I figure he's got that all memorized, considering his parents.
All right. Well, I'm going to go back into my Star Trek original series brain and just say, let's establish an orbit and let's get our away team ready to go. And let's make sure we take red shirt Ash with us.
He's like, yes, more screen time.
Groovy.
There it is, groovy. Yeah.
But I'm a red shirt as well.
Yes, you are.
Yes, but you're a named Chief Red Shirt.
So yeah, we'll get a away team of the PCs and a couple of the away team red shirts, including Ash.
Not the doctor today. She's currently involved in a surgery. One of Psylocke's engineers did something dumb, probably radiation poisoning.
Right, so you're bringing red shirt Ash.
Yes.
Why is she doing surgery for radiation poisoning?
It's Star Trek. Just hand wave it away. Wasn't because it caused a super alien growth. So she gets her own episode next week, Brian. You have to do that while we're away, while we're down on the planet, and everybody else plays, like unnamed red shirts or blue shirts or green or gold shirts.
Yeah, I'm not likely to remember that.
I
My
will type
brain.
it and remind you and force you to make it.
You're in luck. We're recording this.
Okay.
Moving
Was
on
there
before they can
anything
elaborate further.
else? Your sensor suite also included the wormhole.
Yes.
You are able to ascertain that the wormhole is unstable at its terminus, and there are anomalous fluctuating gravity readings. If I recall, last time we did this, you actually sent in a sensor probe.
Right. That was
We
because
wanna-
I kept failing the sensor rolls.
But we also want to send in a sensor probe because that's just common sense.
I will get you to
I
do
don't see any
another
reason why not.
sensors roll, please.
But I just made one, and it was good.
Can I do maybe a complimentary by, tuning the sensors to the type of anomaly, et cetera,
Absolutely.
et cetera?
Why the hell not?
I mean, a +1.
I'll take it. Didn't we
So
write down what the sensor bonus was?
Succeed by 4. Why did it? Oh, I thought I had a 17. I guess I only got a 14.
Oh, that was the sensors roll.
All right, can you give me your sensors operation roll, please, Dallas?
Stand by.
I'm wondering that I probably should have rolled a repair, more like engineering type of roll, or would have been more of operation. Doesn't matter. I passed. I'm just curious.
Yep.
Nice.
Mel's gone. I can roll normal now. Thank you, Mel.
All right, so you will be able to detect that there appears to be a vessel of some kind at the center of the wormhole. This object or the readings are fluctuating, and it appears as if it's there and then not there in sort of rapid succession.
Oh, good lord.
Sir, I am detecting shenanigans and tomfoolery.
Yes. Are you detecting any life forms in the shenanigans and tomfoolery?
Negative, sir. That is too much shenanigans going on there.
Give me an IQ roll for Dallas, please.
I can IQ, but not today.
Never mind.
I've been affected by the shenanigans and quite possibly the tomfoolery.
No, you jinxed yourself when you thanked Mel.
I take it back, Mel.
Yes, well, I think our first... let's get down to the planet's surface. Let's figure this out.
All right, so the combat tracker, is that your away team?
Why is the combat tracker up?
Because that's your away team.
Yes, I think it is.
We should probably have another red shirt in there, though.
Ash can't be the first to go.
Yeah, I would say we need at least 2 more red shirts.
Named red shirts or unnamed?
Unnamed. Because we have an endless supply of unnamed red shirts.
Not quite endless, sir. Of course, that gives us an odd number of 7. Well,
Well-
I guess 6 plus the captain is acceptable.
Odd numbered it is. Off we go. And we magically appeared by the shuttle.
That's how transporters work.
All right. When you arrive, you will see that the debris appears to be what is left of a Romulan vessel. It has crashed in what appears to be... Oh, I'll show you another picture first.
I was gonna say typical sensor scans and all that stuff with our tricorders.
We scan all the things.
You can do the scanning of things. I guess if anyone has a tricorder, they're welcome to do a scan.
In this new picture you've put up of the planet's surface, the large circular holes, those aren't like places where big worms are going to come out.
Of course they are.
Damn it.
All right, let me read you this.
It could be a giant spider. Come on.
Trapdoor spider. The Romulan vessel crashed, appears to have crashed in what was once a forested valley, now a jagged landscape where slabs of rock jut upward and limbless trees stand at unnatural angles, hanging on and hanging on even as the land shifted beneath them. Fallen trees litter the uneven ground, twisted blue-barked seedlings sprout from their carcasses. Several volcanoes smoke in the distance, filling the sky with ash. The sun is a cold yellow disk in the ash clouds. Small furry-tailed animals, each with one red eye, scurry about, while brightly coloured beetle-like creatures the size of a human hand dart from rock crevices. And they have 5 prolonged pincers snapping.
Pincers.
Correct.
Didn't
Not
we
much.
do that already?
We might have. Deja vu. Not much remains of the Romulan ship beyond huge chunks of charred hull covered in a blanket of strange blue-tinted moss, which appears to be one of the few plant species thriving. The pre-Federation shuttle pod rests nearby, its roof and sides thick with bluish moss except around the doors, which has been cleared in patches as if removed by hand.
Interesting. I'm picturing some funky blue moss material on a sound stage somewhere in LA.
I think I might have had images of these creatures. No, I don't.
Maybe can I take that break right now before we maybe start exploration and all that?
Sure.
Or you guys can keep going, but I gotta step away for a moment.
Do we want to take a break? 5-minute break, or do we want to just play through?
How FX? How long do you think you'll be?
5 minutes.
Yeah, well, I'm saying 5, but it'll probably be 10, to be honest.
Okay.
You're supposed to go the other way.
I say we keep. Let's just keep playing through. We can explore a little bit.
All right, then we'll do that.
Yeah, that's fine with me. And then I'll just, if you get to me, then I'll just, jump in.
Don't worry,
As
you won't.
So,
Probably.
Psylocke goes AFK, and you see him just standing there, just looking around. Every now and then he'll say, "What's that over there?" Then he'll go back to swaying.
Why is my user forsaken me?
So the moss has been cleared away from the entry to the shuttle.
Correct.
Okay. Well, you critically succeeded on your tricorder roll.
Mm-hmm.
What about human life and precise location?
Yeah, I got success by 8 on that with the tactical tricorder. Detect and identify life forms, weapons, armor, etc.
Okay, well, you will have a life form that is nearby.
And it is human.
It is definitely human.
When you say nearby, like inside the shuttle or somewhere in the
Not
vicinity?
inside the shuttle. In the vicinity.
Can you show us on the map by pinging or something?
Sure. Where's that pinging? Oh, actually, I'll just put an arrow.
All right.
I am going to advance in that direction.
Yeah, so at this point, it's a perfect opportunity to split the party. I'm going to go inside the shuttle with Red Shirt Ash and whoever else wants to come with me. And Red Shirt 1 and 2 will go with Lorian.
Also, Dallas, I didn't see your tricorder roll there. You will be able to determine that the debris here is probably about 6 years old.
Which debris? So that's the Romulan?
The Romulan debris, yep.
So a modern Romulan vessel.
But have we identified the model or the ship class?
You are not able to identify that. There is evidence that this ship was heavily damaged in battle.
Right.
And
I was going to say, does appear to be heavily damaged.
And there is evidence of radiation that is consistent with atomic weaponry, and also phase-modulated energy cannons of the Earth-Romulan War era.
Right. Yeah, Dulles is going to be focused at this point on identification of all the vessels present, which may only be 2.
Yeah, and looking at this map, try to figure out what that moss is. I'm totally not thinking that it's going to be proto-moss from or proto-molecule from Expanse.
It's totally
No,
not that. Touch it.
No, but it does have an intriguing bioluminescent field due to the presence of photon phase mycelial exudates.
So one of the red shirts maybe can touch it
Please
later.
don't touch that.
All right, so we'll deal with those going into the shuttle first.
Excellent.
Here comes the tripwire and the grenade that's been hidden.
No, the shuttle is a mimic.
Okay, so entering the shuttle, you see what looks to be. Actually, I'll get an IQ roll, or you could do a. What's the skill for forensics?
Forensics.
Yeah.
You guys are bad.
That's what it
It's-
is.
So you can do like forensic analysis, whatever that skill is, forensics, or you can do an
I
IQ
should
roll.
have had that skill.
I didn't
wait.
load the abilities thing. Hang on.
Obviously, your IQ is going to be better than forensics unless you actually have the skill.
I don't have this. I don't have the skill. So just an IQ roll.
minus 6
Just
or
an IQ roll.
criminology minus 4.
It's not really a crime scene that you're looking at. All right. You are fairly confident as you enter this shuttle that you can see someone has been using this as a shelter for a long time. There's bits and pieces of, gathered material that have been, fashioned into makeshift survival stuff.
Okay.
The shuttle has a little bit of power, and this beacon, it is definitely the source of this beacon. You will see, I assume that you have a look at the computer and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
will be able to ascertain from the shuttle's chronometer that it landed here 110 years ago.
Okay.
Sorry, let me rephrase that. The shuttle pod's logs indicate that it landed 110 years ago, but the chronometer says only 6 years have elapsed.
Interesting.
There are a bunch of logs.
Yes, I'm curious about them all.
We'll
They have
reveal
not been
those to you.
chopped yet.
Okay, I'm just going to give this a read. Everyone's seeing the same thing, right?
You can actually read these out since
Okay.
You
your
have to use a different
expositioning.
accent.
All right. I'm going to just read them in my.
There's a few here.
No.
I'll just I'll do them all for you.
You have to make up a new voice for this guy.
Dallas
boy.
has to read the second one.
There's 3?
Okay, so that's all of them.
Okay, I'll read the first one. Personal log supplemental. The Romulan bird of prey crashed before her crew could enable the self-destruct mechanism. A cheer went up among the crew in the torpedo bay as huge sections of the enemy vessel burned up in the atmosphere. I don't blame the crew for cheering death. We spent weeks playing a deadly game of cat and mouse through a nearby asteroid field until we finally got the jump on them in this uncharted star system. Scans of the planet revealed that whole segments of the hull went down intact and were strewn across a debris field over 100 kilometers long. Captain Suarez sent us to the planet's surface to salvage the wreckage for technology that might help the war effort. Over to you, Dallas.
Are these not the same person?
Well,
We're just
Look.
sharing the load. Blah,
Yeah.
Bah.
He never heard your read.
After a thorough investigation of the Romulan vessel, we found no salvageable technology. As we returned to our shuttle, the ground began to quake, and one of the distant volcanoes, which we had earlier thought dormant, erupted, because of course. Its ash quickly blocked out the sun. We found our shuttle on its side, thrusters damaged. we retreated inside to transmit our report to the Atlantis crew and request immediate assistance, but received no answer. We have spent the night holed up here, battered by violent weather, eruptions, and more quakes. None of us have slept, though at least the night righted the shuttle. The night righted the shuttle. Why did the night right the shuttle? I am clearly losing my mind. From what we can surmise, the Atlantis has disappeared. If she had to break orbit, the captain would have found a way to let us know. Has she been destroyed by another Romulan bird of prey in a surprise attack, stranding us here? Ensign Bowman thinks he can repair the shuttle's thrusters and that we should return to orbit in hopes of finding answers.
That was exactly what went through my head before I even read it. Ensign Ricky is dead. No, Ensign Bowman is dead. He worked through the night on the thrusters. We found him outside in the gray morning, covered in a strange bluish moss, which seemed to be eating him alive. There was nothing we could do to save him. I instantly, at this point, get on my personal communicator and say, whatever you do,
Don't touch it.
Don't touch the moss. The shuttle
Just as
pod.
Red shirt number 2 is going, this is some interesting moss, sir.
The shuttle pod can't leave the planet's surface, even if we could repair the thrusters. The moss has infiltrated the engine exhaust ports and drained the power system. It must feed on energy. We are putting the shuttle in low power mode and setting an emergency distress beacon in hopes of rescue. Using gloves from our EVA suits, Ensign Crane and I will be taking shifts clearing the moss from the door. The ground continues to quake daily. Over to you, Dallas.
Why doesn't Rigel get to read one?
Well, he's outside.
2 weeks, and the moss regrows each day, almost as fast as it can be cleared. Even rationing, our supplies are nearly gone. We will hold out as long as we can. The weather grows cold. Except for the moss, it seems all other plant life is dying.
There was an accident. Crane cut his arm while hunting the single-eyed rodent-like animals we've been subsisting on. The moss must have gotten in the wound. It ate him from the inside out, like a flesh-eating bacterial disease. This will be my last entry. No one is coming. I'm alone here now.
The drums. The drums.
Fool of a Psylocke.
Okay, so hopefully nobody's touching the damn moss.
Don't touch it.
Let's have a universe reaction roll from Commander Lorien to see whether his red shirt touched the moss before the announcement from the captain.
Right. Yeah.
Drum
Okay.
roll.
Oh, come on. God, jeez.
So
Nice.
I applied a -20 penalty because red shirts are morons and got a disastrous result.
All right, so your communicator will chirp.
Do the base red shirt stats include curious and impulsive?
They absolutely need to have curious impulsive.
Yeah, so
Honestly,
your communicator will chirp the warning message from the captain. You look to your left over your shoulder, and you can see one of the red shirts is crouched over the moss and is holding it up and sort of holding it between his fingers and stuff like that, saying, he says, Commander, this is really strange stuff.
Awesome.
It's a little bit sticky.
put it down. Drop it now.
He will drop the sample
I
that
can't.
been.
He won't let go.
He drops the
cut off
sample
his
that he's
arm.
been sort of fingering with and steps up and then wipes his hand on his pants.
Congratulations, Ensign. You get to go through a full decon routine.
Well, since he's touched it, we might as well take a sample and for analysis.
Attention, Starfleet personnel. Do we have like tech that can act like a loudspeaker? Like, can I program my my communicator to super expand my voice like a loudspeaker?
I'm not sure.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
say
think I've
we
ever
can't.
seen anything
No,
like that.
I don't think I've ever seen we've done that, but why not?
It does have an output, so
Yep. 'Cause I'm
Me
thinking of doing
electronics
that.
communications. It'll fiddle with the volume controls and, you know.
I actually have that skill, and I failed. I broke my communicator.
Unfortunately, you can crank the
You remember
volume
where
up
that
to
setting
max,
is.
but that's about it. You're not sure if you can get it any
He's
louder.
going to make a mental note to suggest this to Commander Psylocke later to see if he can't improve the design, and then call out really loudly to the cave. Attention, Starfleet officer. We are here from Starfleet. I am Commander Lorian of the USS Lexington.
All right. Well, you make that announcement. You will see this fella.
I'm currently going in here and looking. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. They do have in memory beta. This is like the books, so it's not necessarily officially part of the canon. USS Lexington was one of the 4 remaining NX class ships in active service in 2160. So there is an NX named Lexington.
Well, this ship that this shuttle is from is the
Yep, yeah,
Atlantis.
the Atlantis. I know, but I was wondering
Right.
if there was a one of the Intrepid class or heck a Daedalus class. Oh, he's looking kind of rough.
This guy will emerge from the rocks that he's been hiding behind. Your first observation is that he's not right. He's he's been Wilsoned or not Wilsoned, castawayed for way too long. He's clutching a volleyball under one arm,
Nice.
and he will immediately start yelling at you. And he has a bow with an arrow nocked. He will sort of raise that at you guys. Or
So I am presuming that he is wearing a Enterprise era uniform. Not
he is.
well, the remnants of it.
He is.
Okay, so I will look at his patch, the ship patch, which is I think on the right arm. I can't quite remember. And if I can identify it as Atlantis, he will probably rattle off some interesting tidbits.
All right. So give me a observation or perception roll.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with perception. That is success by 1. It would have been success by 0 if I went ahead and used observation.
You also have your tricorder.
Yep.
You could use your tricorder to get a better scan of this guy. So
I am not raising my hands to, point and potentially unfamiliar piece of technology in his direction. Particularly since at this point in our timeline, the Federation is aware that Romulans look like Vulcans, but they didn't know that in the Int era. However, this guy crashed with a Romulan ship, so I don't know that he doesn't know that.
and he certainly wouldn't recognize your uniforms.
No, he would not.
At present, he just doesn't seem right. His behavior is irrational. He's just shouting, pointing this knocked bow, in your direction, sort of flicking between yourself and the red shirts.
So, Lorian is going to slowly lift his hand up and give the Vulcan to all sign, which Rigel cannot do because his pinky and ring fingers won't cooperate, and do the peace and long life, Lieutenant. If I am reading those bars correctly.
All right, so I will get a reaction roll from you. This will be at -5, and you can add whatever bonuses may be appropriate.
I don't think any would be at this point because he's not going to know anything about us. And I don't think sense of duty is appropriate.
But things like
because he-
charisma and stuff like that
I
will
ain't got
certainly come
any
in.
of that stuff. Um, I was going to say honesty because of the Vulcan thing, but then I remembered how the Vulcans were in the Enterprise era, and that would not be appropriate.
All right, so this is going to be made at -5 anyway. So
Good times.
if you don't have any bonuses,
Nope. And it's a very bad reaction. I am attempting diplomacy. I'm not great at it, but I am attempting diplomacy.
all right. Well, you can attempt diplomacy at the same -5.
Ow!
This is because he just does not seem to be in his right mind.
Okay. Considering Lorian is a former Marine, could I utilize leadership instead with the conceit that he recognizes, battle fatigue or this kind of mindset?
Certainly.
Right. That gives me a potential, actual chance. It's not a great one. I've only got a 9, but it's better than, well, a 5 or a 6. Let's see what we do here. Ugh. And I fail by 7. That's
In
terrible.
theory.
Do you have any luck or anything like that?
I don't think any PC in this game has luck.
All right. In his anger and rage, without warning, he will loose the arrow. Since we've got one contaminated red shirt, he's not going to be the victim of the arrow. So the victim of the arrow will either be Lorian or the other red shirt. So
It's probably going to be Lorian who's the one who's talking.
I'll get you to do a
We're wearing the uniform.
D6 +1. If you beat me, then you are the target. Roll again.
Oh, I see why it was being weird. I had put the image over the roll box, and it kept
Oh.
not wanting to roll. And I'm like, "What's going on?" Damn it! He's gonna shoot that red shirt. Luckily, these things have DR8/2. What's the 2? Is it cutting? No,
Ah, crap. Yeah, that's on the notes, isn't it?
I don't know. I may have it on my uniform. Let me look. Yes, I do. Oh, crap. DR2 versus impaling. So that arrow is going to go right through that.
Well, it's probably a D6, maybe minus something. It's a homemade bow.
And we don't know that he's not going to roll like an 18 and take his finger off.
Oh, the die roll to hit is predetermined. It's just the defense roll that's not. So the red shirt will fail. He will take an arrow. Let's make this interesting and
To the knee.
roll a
It
random
needs
hit.
to be to the knee.
Bets on the knee. Bah.
So the red shirt will take it straight in the chest.
How much damage does it actually do?
Maximum damage.
Lame.
I don't know how much that is.
8 impaling.
So he takes 6 impaling because of the uniform DR.
Which is 12, which takes him below 0, most likely.
And he falls with a ah!
And since this is a red shirt, they automatically fail health rolls and stuff because like that. So the red shirt will, look at the arrow. He'll grab it and he'll say, "He shot me with an arrow," and then he'll sort of drop to his knees and then sort of slump over. Maybe he falls forward and pushes the arrow right through him.
Which probably is even better. Am I seeing any of this, or is this all transpiring while I'm looking at those logs?
Place.
It's transpiring separately.
Okay.
You're about to hear some phaser blasts, though.
I was going to say it's easy enough to get him beamed back up for urgent medical care.
Yeah,
He
he's
says,
probably not going to die unless there's a terrible transporter accident.
Yes.
what are the
Inside
chances of
you-
a terrible transporter accident?
Inside
red
of
shirt?
you, there
Pretty
are
high.
2 wolves always fighting. Sorry about the transporter accident.
All right, so you can see that he is hurriedly reaching for another arrow, ready to continue his crazed assault.
Tackle him.
He's going to be in short range.
That's a great idea. Lorian is going to charge him and tackle him. I need to get some of that sweet Amok Time fight music going.
Uh-huh.
Damn, that's not a sound effect I had.
That really should be.
Why did I not have that sound effect?
Oh, does it have the nerve pinch one?
I can't do the nerve pinch.
Yeah, I know, but it
Yeah,
needs
but
to
it's
be there.
done.
All right, so you charging forward. He's up some rocks, so give me a dex, climbing, acrobatics, or jumping roll.
A clear the obstacle roll that I just made up.
I went with climbing. Success by 3.
All right, so you use a rock to launch yourself up to tackle this guy. Judo, wrestling, or dex to grapple.
Judo by 5. Wow, this is the first time I've actually been able to use judo.
Is it?
Yep. Listen to that music.
I need to add that to my soundboard. Shame on me for not thinking about it.
Well, you couldn't be bothered to fix that image either, so.
He fails to dodge. He is grappled.
Shout for him to, stand down, Lieutenant.
He will attempt to break free.
That is resisted strength
Correct.
by 8.
Oh, right.
He does not appear
Strength.
to be a willing subject at all.
I totally want to do the thing where it's like, I pick him up with one hand and take the weapon from him with the other one, but I don't think I'm that strong.
Strength 18, that's pretty strong. What's your maximum encumbrance?
Max encumbrance?
So your heavy
Extra
is
heavy?
390.
Oh, yeah, 390 is heavy.
So this guy would be, if you halve that for like one arm, I imagine that would be, what's that, 190? So yeah, you probably could lift him one arm. Yeah,
One hand lift is twice basic lift, but not to distract on something that's completely irrelevant, really.
Yep. Yeah, that's why I'm like, that's fine. I'm gonna wrap him up till he freaking hopefully calms down.
He will not calm down. I will give you a subsequent leadership role. If this fails, he will be non-compliant until either he kills you, escapes, or you subdue him somehow.
Right. Is this still at
the minus 5? Yep.
Boo. I don't want a -5. Well, let's see how the dice are feeling today. They are indifferent, so we are going to have to stun him.
Well, he will continue to fight. Give me another strength roll.
I'm going to call out to the other red shirt and instruct him to prepare to stun him. Success by 9.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
And once the red shirt indicates, yep, standing, ready, he's going to shove him into the captured dude into the line of fire so he can get stunned.
All right, no need to roll that. The red shirt says, "Now, Commander," and you shove this guy out. The guy reels around to continue his onslaught on you, but then he's struck by the red shirt's phaser and drops to the ground.
I'll use the comms to inform the captain. It's like, Captain, we have a survivor. He is extremely hostile.
Stun sound effect?
I do.
There we go.
All right. Good job. We'll be right out.
His uniform dates back to the Earth-Romulan War.
All right. Let's beam him up and our wounded member here. We can allow the crew to deal with them.
Yeah, I guess we don't need to stay down here, do we?
Well, is there anything else that we can do other than pull like the entire data log from the shuttle pod?
I think explore wherever he's been living. If he was he in a cave back in there, or he was just hiding because he saw us?
Don't know. I will find out.
He
We'll
was taking
comply.
You get the feeling that he was possibly living in the shuttle.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just explore the area for any other things he may have left behind. But I want to get off this planet as fast as possible.
Yes, and we need to have Ensign James be sent completely through decon cycle because he was playing with the moss.
Very well. We'll pass all this information up to the transporter room, so they can
No.
go with proper protocols.
Yeah, thinking it through, I think the TOS era transporters have built-in decon. Although, from what I saw, it doesn't always work.
I believe
Which
they
is one of
do,
the reasons why Lieutenant Commander Dallas really, really hates being transported.
but I can't say I minded the NX era, lubing up decon.
Especially when sexy-ass T'Pol's in there.
Yeah, that's never the case when you have to go
that's
through
me.
it.
See, that's no. Glorian isn't saying that. That's the player, because
Yeah,
Glorian would
That's
find that
your mum.
gross.
Your mom.
Can I get a tricorder roll from Dallas, please?
Why don't you make Psylocke do it?
Because he asked you.
Because you're the science dude.
Well, I'm going to
Every
science
time
the
you say
shit out
he's
of
a
it just to
science
make
dude, I wonder what dude am I? Because all my skills are like science skills and electronics.
You're the mechanic dude.
Yeah, but that's a completely different science.
Success by 9.
I study the science of shooting people.
With your tricorder, you scan this gentleman. You will be able to determine that he is under the effects of a fairly powerful psychotropic drug.
Right. And
With the
might
success
the
by
signature
9,
of this fairly powerful psychotropic drug match anything relating to the moss that we have recently also studied?
you will, from the tricorder. Hang on, barking dog.
Bang.
You will be able to trace that the chemical compound is found in a nearby river.
There's water?
There is water.
Well, okay. Let's not drink that.
It was about this time, Captain.
Yes.
Who would you have placed in charge as you guys left?
Who's 4IC?
I would think it would be like the equivalent of Sulu.
Well, maybe. Who is our 4IC?
Yeah, we've asked that question before and never quite got an answer.
Let's see. Do we have any additional lieutenant commanders that are on
Chief
there?
Nav, maybe? Who we don't have a name for.
There you go. It'll be the senior. Yeah, that'll be the Sulu character.
So, Lieutenant Sin,
No, this is
No.
Chief Navigator.
Chief Navigator. We haven't got
one
a
is
name
Sin?
for him.
Oh,
Could be a her.
Sin is helm.
All right, so let's name this person.
Well, let's race this person.
All right, what race is this person?
Non-human, non-Vulcan, non-Klingon,
Non-Andorian.
non-Andorian. We got too many of those already. What haven't we done yet? Orion probably doesn't work.
It does not.
Tellarite?
That's the pig guys, right? I think
That's
we
the
already
pig
got one of
guys.
those.
Yes, they're very belligerent. It's funny.
Betazoid?
I don't think they've been discovered yet. Let's see. The core founders were Denobulans, Rigelians, and Coridianites. Let's see. But no, the 4 founding were humans, Vulcans, Tellarites, and Andorians. But the Denobulans, the Rigelians, and the Coridianites joined later.
All right, make a choice. Or shall we get the dice to decide?
Well, obviously, you should get the dice to decide.
On a 1 to 4, on a d6,
Gazetti.
they will be
I was going to say
human.
Rigelian.
Okay, so they're not human. So we've got Tellarite, Andorian, Vulcan.
There's Rigelians.
Rigelian?
I just put it on there. If you scroll down, you get a better look. Not the dumb cartoon thing.
All right, so what do we have? Vulcan, Tellarite, Denobulan. We should actually write these down.
Was there a problem with Rigelian?
No. So you want to go Rigelian? Okay, so your Chief Navigator is Rigelian. Name?
Wow, they've got 2 that are named.
Yeah.
I do not think the first one works. Just go with steal the name for the second one. Just call him Beljo.
Beljo.
He's like Prince. He refuses to have another name or something.
Named.
All right, so Captain, you will hear the voice of Lieutenant Commander Beljo, surname. He says, Captain, we have a problem here. Fluctuations from the wormhole have captured us within its gravity well. It is beginning to pull the ship out of orbit. It is putting excessive strain on the engines, but we are able to hold position at this time.
Get the ship out of danger. That's paramount.
He says, but sir, if we try and leave orbit, you will be stuck on the planet.
Understood. Is there any way to get us beamed up, like, now?
Yeah, you could just tell them, beam us up then.
Well, ultimately, that's the most sensible option, is to beam us up while they try to, just before they try to break free.
Understood, sir. We will try. There are a number of gravimetric fluctuations. It may have an impact on the transporter. There may be a risk. Shall I proceed, sir?
Yes.
There it is.
There it is.
So we will roll the dice on this one. Really? So this is going to be at -2. Damn it. The transporter operator will beam you guys aboard.
Here comes the sound effect.
I'm going to make my way, or the captain will make his way straight to the bridge.
And I'm going to get the injured to sick bay, so make sure they are aware of this guy, the crazy lieutenant's potential craziness. I don't know if Dallas has told me about the psychotropics.
I don't see any reason why he wouldn't have.
Right. Then advise that for the medical personnel, and hopefully they can give him an injection that will clear that right up. And if they can, then I would like to have this guy or interrogate this guy.
I think bourbon typically helps.
All right, so you'll go to medical. Captain's going to the bridge. Dallas
Bridge?
and Solak, I assume, going to engineering.
Yep.
All right, so
We want to
when
make
you
this
reach
as difficult on you as possible.
when you reach engineering, you will get a quick report from your officer on the watch there. He will tell you that you have full power to the engines, just to keep the ship in orbit, but it is draining battery reserves.
Well, we are getting the hell out of here.
Is the mission complete?
I don't
we
care.
Found the source of
We
the...
are getting out of here. The ship's of primary concern now. If we have to come back to the surface, we can do it. But I want to make sure the ship is not pulled into that wormhole. So yeah, let's get us out of here.
And he will say that the engine overload is fusing the dilithium crystal converter assembly. Unfortunately, we cannot generate any more power, and warp at this point is impossible until we replace those crystals.
So we have enough power to not get sucked into the wormhole. We don't have enough power to break from it.
Well, this is what Psylocke finds.
All right. So we need more dilithium.
You will need to get some more dilithium or replace the crystals, whatever that means.
We need one replacement beryllium sphere.
That's precisely what we need. You didn't happen to see any beryllium spheres, dilithium crystal spheres rolling around down there, did you? Very well. Let's scan the planet's surface for possible dilithium deposits. Or would there be something on that shuttle?
Don't we actually have a bunch of dilithium from the planet with the bugs?
That was a dilithium mine. Was that previous adventure, or was that the adventure before?
I don't remember how many back that was. I think it was more than one, though.
Back on the bridge. Dallas, can you please give me a sensors roll?
Oh, why the hell not? Not a tricorder.
Do the tricorders give +4 all the time if I use one?
Only if you're quote unquote answering a scientific question relating to whatever it is that bonus is for.
So, for example, if you're doing surgery on someone and you're using a medical tricorder, you get +4 on your surgery roll.
Oh, okay. So the tricorders are like specific to the craft or the profession or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Like a medical tricorder, a communications tricorder. I don't know, a scientific tricorder.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm trying to remember what the types were that they had actually listed.
Okay, so success by 2. Going back to your sensors, you will see that the gravitational fluctuations from the wormhole have increased considerably. The Lexington appears to be caught within its gravitational grasp. However, you are getting intermittent sensor readings that now detect an NX class starship in the center of the wormhole there.
Captain, my sensor readings are detecting an NX class ship within the wormhole.
But didn't we
Now
have
that image
that,
actually has an NX class ship. You can actually see that this time. You couldn't see it before.
But that was what we detected as phasing in and out, right?
You suspect that that's what you detected phasing in and out.
Very well. In some strange way, there's a way for us to beam someone onto that ship to get the lithium crystals and beam them back.
I guess you would actually be able to detect that it is broadcasting Federation transponder codes. It is the starship Atlantis.
Fascinating.
Yes.
The Atlantis was believed destroyed at Tau Ceti in 2156.
Did I mention the shenanigans?
Can we detect, is like the crew still on this ship? Are we getting life forms on this ship?
You would have to give me a further sensor roll.
Go for it, Dallas.
Why not? Because if we keep rolling, eventually I'm going to fail one, but not yet.
Between the intermittent signal sensor readings, you will be able to ascertain that there are 50 human life signs on board.
I'm guessing that's less than the usual complement.
Your database says the Atlantis crew complement was 83. You can tell that many of the ship's non-essential systems are offline. This includes the transporters. Structural integrity is barely holding, and you can give me a science roll to determine roughly how long you have before structural integrity will fail.
Oh, wouldn't that make sense to be in engineering?
Oh, it certainly would. Let's get an engineering science roll.
There you go.
What system is this? Like the hull, or
Well,
Yeah.
overall ship structure, I suppose.
I got a couple specialties. I'm trying to see which is.
That'd probably be starship. Well, actually, you had inventor though, don't you? Well, that's engineering though. That covers engineering.
Yeah, I have inventor at 17. I guess I'll use that one. And I rolled a 3.
Jesus.
Nice.
So I know down to the millisecond when we're gonna die.
You believe that the ship's structural integrity will only hold for a matter of hours at this rate. Attempting to open hailing frequencies is met with nothing but static.
Okay, so
But if the power is being used to resist that, we're not going to be able to use it.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to take a shuttle over there.
well, how can we take a shuttle there and not just simply get trapped? I mean, the shuttle won't have the kind of power our starship has.
A shuttle is definitely a one-way trip, unless you can find some way to reverse this gravitational pull.
What we need is an extension cord.
So, can we beam over there?
You could certainly beam over there. There will be the same -2 penalty.
What say you, science officer?
Hell, I don't know. Yeah, the player's kind of running out of ideas here. Shuttle, transporter, what else is there? I mean, we could drive right up to it, but can we actually escape? Can we actually escape if we did that? If we just dock directly?
The NX class is significantly smaller than the Constitution class.
Yeah, and probably not in as good a shape given how much time it's probably spent here.
Well, considering the subdued lieutenant in sickbay is human, but appears only 6 years has elapsed for him, while 100 and something has elapsed for us. I strongly suspect temporal inconsistencies are in play.
True, but even with that, it spent what we would imagine here to be 6 years within the grasp of the wormhole. It may have deteriorated somewhat.
We presume it was 6 years for the
We are
ship.
presuming.
It is entirely possible they are trapped between eye blinks. So we absolutely have to rush over there and get involved and get trapped between eye blinks as well.
Are there any other options? We've got shuttle, transporter, or direct contact.
Well, I do believe all of us possess the sense of duty Federation, at the very least.
Yep.
Those are classified as Federation personnel.
Also, yep.
So we have to find a way to rescue as many of them as we can.
Is there any other way to pull them out?
Right. Can we lock onto them and beam them over?
You possibly could, but you have the same penalties.
All right. Let's complement this for the transporter operator.
And I'm not sure how many transporter pads are on the Constitution. I want to say.
That's a good question.
I want to say 8.
So 10 trips.
Well, my first thought there
5 trips.
is do they have a cargo transporter, which would be like, for the cargo bay, in which case you'd be able to get a whole bunch more people. But I don't know if that's actually something that's real or something that I've read and was not real.
I would expect you'd have to get them all in the same place to use that.
And I'm not sure TOS era had anything like a cargo transport.
It might be useful to beam one person over and maybe find out what the situation is over there.
We would not want to send one person. At
No.
best, 2.
Get one of theirs. Yeah, I don't know why we would. If we send anybody over there with a transporter, we're going to have to transport them back. That's just asking for trouble.
All right. I think then we should at least beam over 3. I'm going to elect that I want Psylocke to stay with me on the ship, and Dallas and Lorian, you're going to head over with Red Shirt Ash.
God.
And another red shirt.
Actually, I'm going to give you a little bit of extra info considering Psylocke's critical success.
Is this with regards to NX stuff? Because I'm thinking, in addition to his amazing critical success, Lorian is going to be just a font of knowledge about the NX class.
The structural integrity of the ship is failing as a result of not so much the wormhole itself, but something else inside the wormhole.
Something inside the wormhole.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we are so dependent on our scanners. To
send in a probe.
Some sort of probe. Send in a probe.
We already sent in a probe, didn't we?
No. That was last time.
Well, it was said and nothing was made of it.
All right. Well, if a probe is something we can create to send back data, then that's the way to do it. I don't know why I didn't think of a probe before, but that's just not where my brain is.
My brain's in my ass, so yeah, I wouldn't have thought about it either.
Yeah, that's because you live upside down.
Give me another sensors operations roll and add +4 for the probe. I think it's +4. Roll the dice, see if it matters.
Okay. See, that is exactly what I was talking about.
That's like the opposite of what I just rolled.
I think
Never
your
mind.
probe exploded.
Keep
You
asking
shot.
for rolls, and
There
it's going to
goes.
fail.
There goes the Atlantis. You just fired
Nice.
that probe directly into it, and it exploded. See you guys next week.
Yeah, there is a another object in the wormhole that is not the Atlantis.
Yeah, it's a
and
probe.
you suspect that this other object is possibly the source of all the shenanigans that's taking place.
But not the
But you're
tomfoolery.
you're unable to determine what it is or anything, because apparently you're looking at the sensors upside down, or maybe you're blind and you're trying to braille the sensors.
Oh my. So we're really no further ahead.
Yeah.
So you need to make some decisions. You can certainly shuttle over, but it is a one-way trip. You could transport over, but there are risks involved.
Yes.
And at this point, you're being pulled towards the wormhole, and you are using your dilithium crystals because you are overloading engines to maintain orbit.
Very well. We're going to beam Dallas, Lorian, some red shirts over there. Psylocke and I will remain on this ship. You're going to see if you can get some dilithium crystals from that ship and prepare to beam survivors over back here. And if this doesn't work, well, your sense of duty is saluted.
Wow. Very good, sir.
Or we'll be meeting you shortly.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
What if we take the Admiral out of the brig and send her into the center of the wormhole? Maybe that would distort it.
Oh no, she fell out the airlock.
All right. Well, time to be entertaining.
Time have we got? An hour and a half left.
I mean, unless somebody has a brighter idea, I'm thinking getting on that ship is probably the only way we can harvest lithium and get survivors put over, and hope that some complementary roles will assist the transport operator.
Who is going to be the away team?
Well, I suggested that it be Lorian and Dallas and a couple of red shirts, but perhaps Psylocke should go instead of Lorian.
No, Lorian probably needs to go.
But yeah, because I thought maybe it'd be wiser to have Psylocke on this ship in case we need to, just use his big engineering brain.
And I will point out there is a time dilation effect that's obviously taking place.
That's also true. So we may have time to hopefully get the patient healed and have some words with him.
So what's 100 years versus 6 or something?
Yes, let's avoid that.
All right, so let's determine the away team, so I can put them onto the combat tracker. So we have
Nice.
Lorian. Who?
Lorian and Dallas, and you've got a couple of red shirts.
Not the one that's still going through the really long decon cycle, or the one that's in the med bay for getting shot with an arrow.
Are we
Precisely.
taking red shirt Ash?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Well, it sounds like we need 2 named red shirts.
So I have 3 red shirts, or do you want 2 red shirts?
Well, no, I'm saying we've got Ash. Somebody can play over there, but we don't have another one.
We can have Renix.
Psylocke, do you have electronics operation transporter at all?
No.
See, I do. So I'm going to stay with the ship, because if I can help in the transporter room, I will help in the transporter room.
Dallas, do you have that?
Which one?
Electronics.
I
do have-
do not.
I have plenty of character points.
None of us have that, so we won't be able to potentially use their transporters.
Well, I think the idea here is, okay, then I will beam over to the ship with you, because at least I can operate their transporter beams.
Are you sure you wish to do that, sir?
Well, I mean, unless we can capture them all off that ship and bring them over to our, over to us. Is that something we can technologically do?
You also have the issue of being pulled into the wormhole itself.
Well, it seems to me we really have no choice. We're going to get pulled into that wormhole regardless, unless we get the lithium crystals. And if this ship's the only way we can get them, and we have to pull the people off, well, this is the risk we take, I think.
Well, if we are beaming onto their D deck where their transporter room is, that is the same deck that the engineering is on.
I guess my question is in the original series, could you remotely beam somebody off of a ship?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Lock onto that person and beam them over without the comlinks.
That's right.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
So in that case, the captain will go over to operate the transporter room there.
I'm thinking there may have been precedent for that in the Enterprise show, which is set before. But the incident I'm thinking of is not Starfleet doing that, but another alien race doing it. Because I do remember in season 3, Hoshi, the comms officer, was beamed off of the bridge by evil aliens of the week.
Like they do.
Like they do. All right.
All right, so I have
get over there.
I have the combat tracker being Lorian, Ramius, Dallas, Redshirt Ash, Redshirt Renix, and 2 additional redshirts. Is that the plan?
That looks good.
Well, if we have 3 actual PCs, we don't need 2 named red shirts.
Well, we'll need.
Plus, this is Toss era. Why don't we should just totally take Psylocke with us and leave and just have 1 red shirt.
We've all got perfectly capable seconds here.
Well,
Psylocke
okay.
will just drive one of the redshirts.
That's boring. We want him along
That's
too.
not how TOS works.
Well, you can
Yeah.
always bring him across. You might need him to extract the dilithium crystals.
Or failing that, restarting their drive, so maybe we can get this still functional NX out of there as well, which, who knows, that may resolve the problem.
There you go.
Well,
We're all going.
Okay, let's all go then. I don't recall how many times. I don't recall how many times Scotty actually went off the ship, but let's do it.
Yeah, he went on landing missions quite frequently.
All right,
Not
so
necessarily boarding
I've removed the
missions,
named red
but,
shirts since you don't need them, since the whole crew's going over.
All good.
It is not the whole crew going over.
The
It's
important
the
crew.
whole command crew.
Well, you will all transport across with no hiccups. As you beam aboard the Atlantis, you will find yourself in a dimly lit, barely functional ship. The corridors are silent, save for the distant echoes of phaser fire and screams. The ship creaks under the strain of gravitational forces, and its systems flicker in and out of operation.
Okay, then let's proceed to where we. You said we're hearing phaser fire?
Correct.
Well, then I guess that will be our first place to go, because let's find out who's shooting at whom.
Run toward the danger.
Okay. So, I actually have some images here. You are on D deck. Can I share that?
I was about to ask the same thing.
Huh. You can't share it if you full screen it. It has to be windowed.
Well, I guess that makes sense.
Ah, okay, this is in play.
Where is the transport?
6.
I'm looking for 6.
I'm pointing at it.
Gotcha.
Ping it. Ping it.
I didn't think of pinging.
The sounds of phaser fire appear to be coming from this direction. By the way, I really like these maps. Someone has gone to a lot of trouble to make them.
Did you look at the link that I sent you? That is Waxing Moon Design. He did, the entire deck plans.
Yep, and that's where I got these from.
Yeah, and I briefly interacted with him many years ago when he was working on it, and he's like, he watched the show way too much for. He's like, he's not even paying attention to what's actually going on. He's looking at the backgrounds and all that stuff.
All right. Well, we'll head to the where the action is.
I'll have to remember to give his site credit for these maps.
Waxingmoondesign.com.
Okay, so move yourselves to
You
the
have
direction.
not told us where the danger is.
I said it's coming from down that direction.
Then you have. Carry on. We're going that way.
All right, so Commander Lorien, when you round that corner, or I assume you sort of poke your head around first,
Oh yeah.
you can see at this intersection here, there is a few people that are dressed in uniforms that indicate they are engineering and security personnel,
Red Stripe.
and they are firing down the corridor this way, and you see some more down here, and they're firing this way. There appears to be a ranking officer in that group.
Looks like some sort of mutiny, sir.
Let's proceed, and let's proceed forward. Do not make any hostile gestures. Let's have our phasers at our sides.
Wait a minute. If this gal's the chief engineer, why has she got gold? She should have red.
Zip it. Clearly the AI are not smart enough yet.
Plus, it didn't put her in the proper jumpsuit.
He had enough trouble getting it without a third eye.
I mean, she doesn't even have the rank squares.
So we proceed up the hallway.
She does, you're just not interpreting the image correctly, or your eyes are deceiving you. So you're proceeding. Do you have weapons drawn or anything like that?
Weapons drawn, but at our sides. We don't want to appear threatening.
Well, we're going to run into the whole problem of our uniforms are completely foreign to them.
Uh-huh.
For that matter, so are our weapons.
Well, we've identified a ranking officer here, I guess.
She's
Yeah,
at
unless you
this
wanna-
intersection.
Unless you want to go around and see what they are firing at from behind, but I'm going to keep moving forward. If they catch our attention, I'm going to be putting my hands up in like the, don't shoot gesture.
All right, they at this point appear to be way too preoccupied with the battle that's raging down that corridor. You get to about there when you can see that this ranking officer is hit and falls back.
I will rush up.
Back there.
I'm going to rush. I'm going to rush up to grab her and pull her back.
It is about this time that you find yourself face to face with another one of the engineering personnel, who looks at you startled as you both sort of reach for the chief engineer in this case. Can I get you to roll a reaction roll? Add whatever bonuses you feel are appropriate, but I'm going to assess a -2 because of your weirdness.
Okay. I don't know what. So you're going to say a -2 for my weirdness?
It's for the fact that you're not in a recognizable uniform, though you do have Starfleet insignia and stuff like that. So the weirdness of the encounter more than weird, you being weird.
I'm going to. Do we have the same ranks, or has that changed?
Definitely changed. They have little bars similar to the way they do it in Next Generation, but we have the stripes on the arms.
I would think that you would probably be familiar with their rank structure enough to know who they are, even if they don't know who you are.
Yeah, if she's
But even that
Chief
could get a
engineer.
pretty good guess.
If she's chief engineer, she's probably got 3 silver pips, which would, put her at commander, or 2 silver pips and 1 black pip, which would be like lieutenant commander.
Well, I'm just going to kneel. As I kneel down, I'll look up at this person and say,
Well, still give me a reaction roll,
right.
because diplomacy defaults to, falls back to reaction.
I'm simply going to say, we heard your distress signal. We're here to rescue you. We were issued new uniforms just before we stepped off.
That sounds like fast talk.
Yeah,
any
you
case,
probably wouldn't bother with the uniform comment, or you might. I had to check. Yep. So
stupid of me.
Lorian is probably going to give the captain a very brief disapproving look at the lie. Look at that, Daniel. Disapproving look came back. Different game.
Okay, so you both reach for the chief engineer, and there's a moment of like WTF, and then this guy will sort of come to his senses and the two of you drag the chief engineer out of the line of fire, and behind cover into safety. The phaser wound appears to be a stun more than a kill shot.
I tell the red shirts to move forward and provide covering fire or to assist.
Not so fast. After the chief engineer is safe, this red shirt will stand and point his phaser at you and say, who are you?
I'm Captain Ramish. I am with the... can I do a quick history check? Maybe to come up with a memory of another ship from that same time?
You don't have to. The Lexington.
We're from the
was an
Lexington.
NX.
Say that again?
The Lexington. There was an NX class that was the Lexington.
Wasn't
All
it
right.
destroyed though? Was it destroyed?
Nope, it was still operational in 2160. It's one of the last 4 that were operational in 2160. Obviously,
So I
the
say-
Enterprise was, because it's just too cool.
Yeah. So I say I'm Captain Ramish with the Lexington. I'll forgive the impudence of pointing your weapon at a senior officer, but I suggest you put it down, Ensign, now, or you're going to be charged after this firefight.
That sounds like leadership to me.
Leadership or intimidation?
And Lorian is just about ready to just grab this dude if he doesn't pay attention to what the captain just said.
So he, in confusion, will go, of course, Captain, and he'll lower the phaser. But you can see that, things in his brain are not adding up.
Right. So then the captain just sort of said, provide assistance. Is that correct?
I said what I wanted was the red shirts to go forward to assist in some covering fire.
Right. So as soon as
But-
you give that, Lorian will go into tactical mode with the whole Ramirez, Womack with me.
And
Found out there.
yeah, and then I'm going to say to Ensign Ricky there, give me a sit rep. What's going on? Who's firing on you?
He will say, "It's a mutiny, sir. The ship has descended into chaos. We have several different factions on board, all vying for control." And he'll sort of point in the direction of the corridor. He'll say, "All those people down there, they're from science."
Where's the ship's captain?
Good question.
Well, if it's a mutiny, captain's probably dead.
Could be at the brig,
That's true. We do have an admiral in our brig.
or just grievously wounded.
Or he's doing the waha, everything is all mine.
That's it. He's in his quarters, stepping on dirt he just poured out of a plant, muttering about something.
This ensign will say, "I'm not sure, sir. It's chaos."
Very well. I will turn to Dallas and say, Science Officer, what do you think? Should we try to move over to the other side and try to convince them to stand down?
Sir, that is a tactical question, not a science question.
And the tactical guy is up there going, pew, pew, pew.
Very well. Get Lorian, get Lorian back here. We need to discuss an approach. And I look at Ensign Ricky and I say, how long is this? When did this mutiny suddenly emerge into gunfire or phaser fire?
Here we go. Minor retcon. The captain is dead. He says...
It's not really a retcon. We didn't say he was alive.
Well, he is most definitely dead.
Well, if there's another red shirt
Captain
there, he can
Suarez. Captain Suarez was murdered by the first officer in a coup to attempt to seize his command.
How long ago did this happen, Ensign?
You will see. About a day, sir.
And how long have you been orbiting the planet?
I'm not sure, sir. We were engaged with a Romulan bird of prey. We managed to shoot them down, and then things went haywire.
But was that just like a few days ago, Ensign?
It says, yes, sir.
I just look at Lorian or look at Dallas with the kind of that silent, like, holy crap look.
Dallas just nods his head and mouths shenanigans.
And in my captain brain, I'm going, geez, I wonder what year it is back on the Lexington. Anyway, so I look at Psylocke and say, do you know where you could find lithium crystals on this vessel?
Main engineering.
He would definitely know that.
Then I would say, Shylock, take one of these red shirts with you and see if you can't get the necessary lithium crystals we need.
He buggered off, by the way.
Sorry? Oh,
Said
he's away for a minute.
The player buggered off.
Okay, so we'll presume Psylocke goes to get some dilithium crystals. But at this point, is Lorian back?
I don't know did someone actually send me back?
Well,
So, Lorian, you are looking down the corridor, and you can see. I don't recall what color science was in the
Blue.
So you will
they
see
didn't
some.
change the color scheme.
You will see some blue uniforms down the end.
Well, they're all
of the
blue
corridor.
uniforms. They just have the brighter blue stripe.
Well, you have the blue stripe.
Blah, 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 blah.
They are here, and there is fire being exchanged.
They're not trying to kill each other. It's just stun.
Well, at least the chief engineer was stunned.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of a blue-green, to be honest.
I mean, is there a way to patch into the ship's comms to announce that rescue has arrived, identify myself as the commanding officer, and I'm ordering everyone to stand down in a faint hope clause that this might actually get through to them all?
Well, it's worth a try.
You certainly could.
That or we start blasting. Anyway,
what is Lorian going to do? You will see some confused looks from the security and engineers that are sort of around this area, firing back as they see you guys and go, huh?
Right. So he succeeded at tactics by 3. Obviously, I don't know if that's going to necessarily matter, but he's trying to. So the shooting is just coming from, well, the upper, the up on the map, or is it up and down?
Just the up.
Is there anyone in the down section that is also wearing the blue, or gold?
Nope.
Let's see here. Are the science people retreating already?
No, they're holding their position, and there's fire being exchanged at present, and it's not just this corridor.
Right. Well, the captain
It's
instructed
from
us to
there,
provide suppressive fire, so we're gonna probably stun a couple of them
and
with
there.
the weapons available,
Okay, well
which in his case will be that absurd looking rifle.
all right. You can make out at least two crewmen behind that corner there. They are engaging in effectively pop-up attacks. If you
Right.
wish, you may begin. Consider it medium range.
Medium is minus what? We remember off the top of our heads? Is that -7?
I think we actually had it here somewhere.
Yeah, wasn't it 03710?
Sounds right. We'll go with -7.
That's kind of an oof, but what are you going to do? And you said they had some cover?
They do pop up, so it's -2 cover when they expose. Sorry, -3 cover when they expose themselves.
Okay, then that would have been one less. Success by 4, so maximum 4 hits. Stun -3, affliction.
That person will slump in the corridor, stunned.
Right. And obviously, the red shirts that are accompanying him will probably lay down some fire as well, but didn't want to necessarily focus too heavily on that for you.
However, since you exposed yourself, we're going to shoot you back. That will be a miss. I assume red shirts will be laying down fire. Other non-crew red shirts will be doing the same. The top of the round goes back to you.
Then he'd be doing the aim.
All right, so you aim. This turn, someone else is going to take a shot at you. The -7. Oh, very close. Missed by 1. You may now return fire.
Max 3 hits by 2.
Okay, so the first shot is survived. You get 3 shots. The second will knock them out.
Oh, okay. I see what was going on. Hold on. Ignore this. I'm studying something for the ammo counter. Interesting. Okay.
You don't need to worry too much. We're not going to really bookkeep ammo because I think you have like lots and lots of shots anyway.
There are 100 shots in the phasers, but depending upon the setting determines how much charges it depletes. And I was just noticing that stun 3 is apparently depleting 5.
Okay. All right. The battle comes to an end as you dispatch these 2 guys at the end of the corridor, and it looks like the people that are further down the corridor seem to have their situation under control as well.
Is the engineering chief officer able to talk?
If you give me a first aid roll. All right, so you'll get your tricorder out and see that she's just stunned. You do whatever you need to do to first aid her, and she will come to.
All right. I'm going to give her the shame spiel, identify myself, identify that we are responding to a distress call. I understand a mutiny's underway. I'm taking charge of the situation. I need her to lead me to the nearest place where I can start speaking to the ship on comms.
Okay, give me a leadership.
Oof, by 7. Dang.
She's like wary and confused and not sure exactly what's going on as she looks you over. You're clearly out of uniform.
Can I make a diplomacy disarming smile?
Well, your role was still successful, but she eventually comes around and says, "I don't know what's going on here, Captain. I believe You are who you say you are, but some things are not adding up. You're clearly out of uniform.
Can I try the fast talk? We just got issued new new uniforms.
We could totally make the argument that they're out of uniforms, and they've been AWOL for 100 years.
You could actually tell the truth. Star Trek timey-wimey stuff's not unheard of.
All right. Yeah, sure. Why not? I will simply explain everything to her and say, start from start to finish about the distress signal, recovered a survivor at the shuttle, and we need dilithium crystals to get the hell out of here, and we're prepared to beam everybody over to our ship to escape.
She says, I'm not sure it's going to be that simple, Captain.
Start talking. Time's a-ticking.
She says, we found ourselves caught by a wormhole. We detected an alien lifeboat in this wormhole. We managed to bring it on board into the launch bay. We had an armed security detail open up the lifeboat, but before they could react, a creature lunged out and instantly absorbed one of the crewmen. It happened so fast, we couldn't really do anything, and this alien creature took the shape of the crewmate that it absorbed, and then it disappeared and fled into the bowels of the ship.
What did it look like before it assumed the form? I'm wondering if it was Suliban.
Looked, the chief engineer, she says, not sure. It happened so fast. We barely got a look at the thing.
Lorian will address Captain Ramius and point out there is precedent for this in this era. My mother served aboard Enterprise, and they dealt with the Suliban, who were shapeshifters, quite frequently.
And how did they determine who was or who wasn't?
Do the Suliban absorb their victims?
Absorb them? No. They simply were able to assume their physical appearance. I don't remember them absorbing them. Now I gotta look that up on Memory Alpha.
Unfortunately, I believe the first officer might have been similarly absorbed by this hostile alien and murdered Captain Reinhardt.
Well, very good, Mr. Lorian, but can you explain how they defeated them?
He is actually going to be utilizing his scanners. Usually they made a mistake.
I look at the chief engineer and say, now, how can we best win over the trust of the remaining crew?
I'm not sure, Captain. The crew has fragmented into several factions. There's myself, and my loyal crew. There's those that follow and fight with the first officer, Caitlin Malloy. And then there are those that are with
that other person.
In the same way that you were shocked by our arrival.
Chief Medical Officer Martinez.
Thank you. In the same way that you were shocked by our appearance and our strange appearance, I believe we could try this method on all these factions. We just need to find them.
What of the alien? I believe that this alien is amongst one of those two other factions, and I'm sure that those crew have similar suspicions about ourselves.
Yes. However, if you could assist my chief engineer to get the lithium crystals, well, hang on a second. Can we just fix this ship and get it out of here, or is it too far gone?
I think Psylocke probably would have known that
Well, he'd
given
have to
his
wait and
crit
once-
success scan earlier.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that 3.
I mean, if it's about abandoning the ship, fine and dandy. But if we could get what we need, I can start. We could try and get her team beamed over back to the Lexington, and one by one, Lorian can scan each group. If they're all human,
Well,
get them
I
to
am
the
also
transporters.
thinking Dallas's scanner might be more effective in this case.
Chief Engineer says,
However-
"I'm not sure we're going to be able to do anything. We are well and truly trapped within the gravity well of this wormhole. We believe there is an object at the center of it that is causing it, but we do not have the power to escape."
Yeah. So all the more reason for us to get the crew beamed over and drop these factions one by one so they're not interacting with each other and scanning each of them to see who's human and who's not.
Sir, if I may interrupt briefly, tell me about this object.
Are you asking the chief engineer?
We don't know a great deal about this object. Perhaps the chief science officer, whose name is something, Shiro Takashi.
In a different faction from yours?
Yes, unfortunately, Takashi has allied with Martinez.
Very right. Very well, unless someone has a better idea, I think we get these engineers out of here with the lithium crystals working on a solution on our ship, and we start to bring these factions in one by one.
Chief Engineer says, "I'm not sure that's going to work, Captain. If you
Explain.
if you remove our dilithium, we will lose whatever power we have, and I'm not sure the ship's structural integrity fields will be able to hold. This ship will collapse."
Well, the player is not smart enough to understand how to get through this dilemma. We remove the
In
dilithium
answer
crystals.
to Dallas's question before about the object, the engineer says, "We don't know much. Shiro or Takashi will probably have more information, but we believe it is of alien origin."
You're talking about the alien itself, or what it came into the vehicle?
No, the thing that
vehicle
is
it came in.
causing the wormhole and gravitational fluctuations and stuff like that. It is at the center of this wormhole.
So Dallas is going to ask if they have any sort of sensor reading scans, something that he can look at.
Nothing that we have access to here. You would need to win over Commander Takashi.
Do you not have control of D-Deck,
We do.
the command center?
This is true.
Further, the centerpiece is the computer core, or at least the lower level computer core. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean the science team has not found a way to lock you out, but Commander Dallas is from 100 years in your future, so one would hope that we have learned a few tricks since then.
One or two at least.
Where are the other factions, to the best of your knowledge?
All right. He will say Martinez and Takashi. They occupy E-decks and C-decks.
That's impulse engines, medical and science labs, quarters, sick bay.
And we are currently on
B-deck.
And we are currently on D deck, engineering deck.
You have control of D-deck, or we have control of D-deck, and first officer.
Is
They
it
have
possible?
They have control of some of B-deck and C-deck,
Okay.
or parts of the computer core at C-deck.
So you don't have enough power to get this ship out of its present location in this wormhole.
No, sir.
And you only have enough power to keep it from collapsing further into this thing.
And to maintain the ship's structural integrity field.
Did you try to shoot at the object?
We did, to no avail.
What did you shoot?
Torpedoes.
And side note, are the torpedoes from this era superseded by the torpedoes that we have? I'm assuming we have torpedoes.
Significantly less
So-
capable. They are spatial
Okay.
torpedoes at this time period, and we use photons.
So, Dallas is going to do a couple of things here. And one of them is to tell the captain that we need to establish communication to the Lexington, or we're not going to be able to do much here. So we need to employ a fluctuating signal transponder utilizing a harmonized dual frequency resonance protocol, with one signal emitted in the hyperelectromagnetic spectrum and the other attuned to the subplanckian oscillations for quantum tunneling through the gravitational variances. All that to say, we need to defeat the interference from the wormhole. And if we can establish communication back to the Lexington, we can have the Lexington fire on the object that is creating the wormhole.
Very well, make it show.
And secondly, I am going to utilize my racial memory ability to recall from my symbiote's past where he operated on an NX class ship and knows very well where all the secrets are hidden, and can provide us with a back channel to get us to the necessary location, like perhaps the computer control room or something like that, where we can actually perform this operation.
Very well, make it show.
Essentially, he's giving himself a IQ level in area knowledge NX class ship. Or would that be hidden lore?
No, it's not hidden.
Oh, there may need to be some invention here.
Well, I think this is the best shot we have of it. Fire a photon torpedo at the object and hope it releases. While you are doing all of that, I will try to get these factions to stand down.
Indeed. Lieutenant Commander Psylocke, and you red shirt, would you join me?
Yes, Commander.
All right. You go off to do your stuff. How's the captain going to try and reason with the factions?
The very same way I did so with the engineer.
Look
I'm going
around,
to-
find a wall communicator.
That's exactly it. I'm going to go find a wall communicator, and I'm going to start to communicate. And if there's some way to visually present my face and my uniform, I'll do it. On some tiny tube screen.
It's gonna say, "Mama's not the law. I'm the law."
Okay. All right. You will announce over the intercom.
Yes. I'm going to identify myself as Captain Ramius of the USS Lexington. That we have come into this system to provide assistance. That I understand that there are a number of factions working against each other. You are being manipulated by an alien life form. I am calling all of your section heads to come and meet me. Well, where the heck are we? Is there a little conference room somewhere?
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, there is, but it's gonna be.
Right where I'm pinging?
No, not there. No, that's a command center. That's not a conference room. I think the conference rooms are like on B and A and stuff.
Well, command
Well, I'm
center
gonna-
would probably do for what you needed.
I'm going to tell them, come to the command center. I can guarantee their safety. And I'm giving them all a direct order as the ranking officer now on this ship.
Okay, give me 2 reaction rolls.
Okay.
One is for the alien, and he likes you.
There is a reply over the comm.
Nuts?
This is First Officer Malloy. It sounds like a far-fetched story you have there.
All right.
I certainly do not recognize your voice, and I don't think you are a member of this crew. Perhaps you are the alien in a different form.
He
All
didn't
right.
say he was a member of this crew.
Yeah, I said I'm of the USS Lexington, and so what could I use? Either intimidation or no,
Well, intimidation is not going to work here because
no.
basically
So
that
I mean,
means you're going to have to threaten to do something bad to them, and you can't if they don't recognize your authority.
I'm going to say to use diplomacy. I think at this point to say we're to call a truce, to at least come to meet with me.
Just so I remember these names. Share these images.
Definitely the wrong suit. He's the alien. Your AI cannot do Enterprise uniforms.
Nope. Though, Mid-Journey, I haven't tried Mid-Journey 7, version 7. It's currently in alpha. It might do a better job. It certainly does a better job of Star Destroyers. Who am I missing?
Who was challenging me? Was it Mallory?
Yes.
Yeah. Who, if the captain is dead, is the ranking officer on the ship?
Yeah. All right.
Except Phillips will say, I'm sure that she is the alien. I'm positive that she murdered Captain Suarez.
Okay. So I'll say Chief Science Officer Takahashi and Chief Medical Officer Martinez. I offer for you to come to the conference room on D deck. I will be unarmed. And just quickly thinking through my brain pan here.
You will hear a reply. Martinez here. I'm willing to have a conversation, but I'm a little unsure of your location. I suggest some neutral territory. And Takashi will say, this is a ploy. It is a trick to get us captured and weaken our positions. And Caitlin will say, whoever you are, Captain Ramius, you claim, and you've told him that you're from the future, right?
No, I haven't
Nope.
said any of that. No. They can't see me. They can just hear my voice. The Lexington did exist at this time. So I will simply respond by saying, and this at this point, I think it should either be a leadership role or perhaps intimidation, which is to say, I am the ranking officer. You are all Starfleet officers. You will abide by my command, or when this is finished, I'm going to court-martial you to the fullest extent of Starfleet Code of Service discipline.
All right, give me a roll. You can use diplomacy or leadership or intimidation. Either one of those.
Pick the
Of
tone.
course.
I think they're all going to hang up on you.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like.
I look over at the chief engineer. I say, "Can we remove the life support
Martinez
from the deck?"
says the others say basically say no deal, but Martinez says, I'm willing to speak with you, but you'll have to come to me. You'll have to show a degree of trust so that I can trust you.
I look over at Phillips and say, of the three, who is the most reasonable?
Let's see. Phillips will shrug and say,
I am.
I think if you were to get through to someone, it is possibly Martinez. Last I spoke with Martinez, he did not believe that there was an alien intruder at all. So perhaps he is more willing to talk rationally.
Very well. So I will say to Martinez, contact me directly and tell me where you want to rendezvous.
Okay. He will give you a location on C deck, I think they controlled.
Okay. And
C deck.
I will turn to Phillips and say, although I should know this, but yes, as it says in the chat, is there a way to lock these decks in such a way that we could just simply lower the life support and put these people to sleep?
There probably is, but it'd be complicated.
Very well. I'm going to head
Especially
off to meet
considering
with
that you have competing officers. If you had access to the computer core, then you could get full control of the ship.
And who has access to the computer core right now?
The computer core is on.
It's right there on D deck, I thought.
Well, I see life
I
support
think
systems
it's
is on D
life
deck.
decks. It's on this in the center area.
Yeah, but I see life support systems is on this deck.
It's actually mentioned here. Let me just find it. Okay, the computer core is located at the center of the saucer module. Takes up decks B, C, and D.
They have a lot of server fans in there.
Access between these decks of the computer core is done via ladders.
All right, but we have access. But we can control life support.
From engineering, yes, you do have control over life support.
All right. So I think we'll meet with Martinez, but I want a backup plan.
C deck.
I want a backup plan to lower the life support on these other decks. Who's going to come with me?
I am.
And Ash.
Bronchi, you said C deck as in Charlie?
For the meeting,
Yeah.
let me just go back to it.
Yeah, I'm like actually not seeing any meeting rooms in there. It's like a metric butt ton of labs.
Science labs on C deck. That's where they want you to meet.
That doesn't narrow it down. There's a lot of labs on C deck.
Actually have C deck here as well.
I got inorganic chemistry lab. Let's find another one. Quantum mechanics lab. Another quantum mechanics lab. What's that one? A research lab. Another research lab. A sauna. Hey, yeah, we can meet him in the gym. Particle physics lab. Another research lab.
Martinez will tell you that you'll be escorted to once you are on C deck. You'll be escorted to the lab.
Very well.
All right. Do you turn up armed or anything like that, or are you going to go unarmed?
I'm going to go unarmed, and I'm going to tell Lorian and Ash to be prepared to defend me. But I will go forward unarmed.
This is highly illogical.
Okay. You will go to C deck. You will be met by two crewmen. They will see that you are unarmed, but they will see that Redshirt Ash and Lorian are armed, and they say, well, first there's confusion, like you're out of uniform and all that weirdness. Then they say you'll have to relinquish your weapons.
So I'll say I'm going to come with you. My associates are staying here.
Sir, this is highly ill-advised.
Well, so be it. Duly noted.
The crewmen sort of mull over it for a little bit. They say, very well. And one of the crewmen will escort you away to one of the science labs, and it's not long before a couple more crewmen turn up to basically just keep an eye on Lorian and Redshirt Ash, or the Redshirt. You find yourself in one of the science labs. You can see Martinez. It looks like he hasn't slept a wink for a while. He looks exhausted, and he's sort of poring over some data and stuff. He looks at you and says, "You're out of uniform, Captain." I
Yep.
see the Starfleet insignia, but I do not recognize this uniform.
Yes, that is true. And I have an even bigger shock for you, Martinez.
You're out of
Uh,
uniform.
Yeah. Was I on your ship? Do you recognize me as being one of your crew? Do you recognize me as being on your ship before?
I have not seen you on here before. That doesn't mean you weren't here. I'm not familiar with every member of this crew. But I
Yes.
certainly haven't seen you.
What the heck
No.
kind of chief medical officer is he on a ship of 83 that he doesn't know everybody by sight?
So,
There he is. There's the alien.
So, I will start to explain to him how we got to his ship, where we're from, that Phillips has agreed to work with me to put the factions to rest and to get the crew to safety. I'm just going to lay that all out.
He contemplates a bit and looks at some of his data, and he says, "That explains some things. I believe you." He says,
Well, you and your,
"Unfortunately, I believe these this bout of paranoia which has taken control of this ship is a direct result of high frequency electromagnetic waves that are emanating from this artificial wormhole.
Yes. And we are planning.
The crew have made claims of an alien intruder, but I don't see evidence of that."
And I have every reason to believe you, Martinez. We are planning to destroy whatever's at the core of this wormhole with a very powerful photon torpedo, something that your ship did not have the capability to deliver.
I see. We have certainly tried. I'm not familiar with the weapons technology of your era. Perhaps it will be enough. I had possibly contemplated ejecting our warp core and perhaps using that to destroy whatever it is, but that would leave us incredibly vulnerable. We are aware of Romulan vessels in this system. We encountered one. I have mentioned this to Commander Phillips, but she has been unwilling to sacrifice this ship for my idea.
Well, I have Phillips very much interested in the delivery of a photon torpedo as well now. I would like you to and your team to join my team and be proper Starfleet officers once again, and we are going to correct this situation.
Martinez, he'll press a button on his console, and he will say, "Did you all hear that?" And you'll hear replies from the different factions. "We did. While you may be convinced, Martinez, I am not so sure. I would like to meet this captain myself."
Who's he saying that to?
Okay, so Martinez pressed a button on the console, and he said, "Did you all hear that?" And then you heard replies from all the faction heads. So Martinez was obviously broadcasting this conversation secretly to everyone.
Okay.
Then why did he have to push the button to talk?
Because it's dramatic effect.
So,
Plus, it's like the captain's like, "I was trying to meet with this moron woman in the first place."
so Ramius will say, "I have everyone's best interests at heart here. I just want to free this ship and do my duty to Starfleet. I am the ranking officer. You're welcome to come and meet with me.
Ooh.
And I will guarantee you this, if any of you try to stop me, you will be court-martialed to the fullest extent of the law, because Starfleet Command is here now."
I just had had a realization that I could have totally had the chief medical officer check Lorian's DNA. T'Pol's records are going to be on. Oh, wait, no. He wouldn't want to do that because then the guy would be like, wait a minute. I got both of your parents on the database.
So the Martinez will say, we have used the computer core as neutral territory before. I suggest we all meet there.
And would you tell the other two I was of my word? I'm unarmed.
Meanwhile, in the computer core, Lieutenant Commander Dallas and Psylocke have torn apart everything and are currently trying to rewire the ship.
Not to
Are we
explode, I hope.
successful?
Okay, let's go here.
So, trap?
Oh, yeah.
So you guys are in the computer core.
I just threw that out there, but I don't know where you would go to set up the communication issue.
Which one's this? C deck.
Computer core.
Well, this may have to do with hardware.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the proper thing. E-deck.
Going down, are we?
Yeah, go to that link there, Giger,
Actually,
and then scroll over to the right, and then we've got the navigational deflector dish, and you could probably, access that. And note on that link, if you mouse over the stuff, it will give you tooltips about what it is.
Oh, I'm on the wrong deck here.
Should be deck E. It's the second one.
Yeah, where is that?
Go to the right, front of the ship.
Is there a link to change decks? I don't see it.
No, I did. I've drilled down.
Oh, well, okay. How about no, that doesn't work.
Yes, there is at the very bottom. There's a return load file, or just return button.
That's better. All right.
And I'm so motivated by the fact this guy, Waxing Moon Designs, did the refit NX-01 too. That's the one that has the engineering hull.
All right. So presumably I'm looking at Echo and all the way to the right. We got the
deflector dish.
nav dish. I guess that works.
All right. So who is going to this meeting? Who will be?
Well, I
attending?
am.
Escorting the captain again, and remind him that if necessary, Lorian's mother was an active and fairly famous individual during their time period.
So it looks like we got two PCs at the meeting and two PCs trying to align the dish manually.
Okay. So the two PCs.
And then we'll bring down the dropship on remote.
The two PCs that are going to the computer core. You'll head there. You'll see that there is a guy which seems to be in charge of all the weapons. The various faction heads will hand over their weapons to this lieutenant, and anyone else that's entering the computer core will be asked to hand over their weapons as well.
I am not giving him my weapons. I will give Ash my weapons. Have Ash stay outside.
All right. You will have Ash.
Is this guy doing like a pat down or anything like that?
No, he's not. He's not patting down. But
if he came across that Type 1 phaser, would he even know what it was?
Yeah, that was the point. It's like, so Lorian's going in. He's not planning on attacking or anything like that, but he will have the Type 1 phaser. That's that very small, but doesn't even look like a weapon part.
All right. So we're getting very close to time.
You guys are going to get there in the center. You're going to start to talk, and then everything's going to explode.
So you will meet in the computer core. Everyone is sort of looking at you, and they, they take a good look, and you can see that there is obviously some doubts. There's certainly some mistrust. It doesn't take long before accusations between the various faction heads begin to erupt as Mallory says that the when the chief engineer shut off life support to to G deck, there was still people trapped in those corridors, and Lieutenant Verga could hear the screams of his shipmates gasping for air as they suffocated. The chief engineer will sort of respond and say, don't pretend you don't know the invader was on G deck that day. I did what I needed to do to protect everyone. I lost two of my own crew that day, and there's just lots of back and forth.
So, then I am going to just say enough. What's done is done. I'm in command, and we are trying to put an end to this wormhole. We have a plan. I expect all of you to act as professionals, as the officers that Starfleet trained you to be, and realize that you're being manipulated by something beyond, beyond just your own fears, begrudges, and it is time to come together again as a team.
So, what are you suggesting, Captain?
We have
How do we resolve this issue? And what do we do with the alien on board?
Yeah.
If you are
We are
not the
going-
alien yourself.
All right. So, who's got the scanner?
I've got a tricorder. It's a tactical one, but it does identify life forms.
Yeah. So, I'm going to say, fine. You're a medical officer. None of you have ever met me before. Scan me.
Oh, right. That's to Dr. Martinez.
So Martinez will grab his tricorder and he will scan, and he will say, as far as I can tell, you're human. But like I mentioned to you before, Captain, I do not believe that there is an alien on board. I believe this is psychosis produced by the wormhole.
I understand, Doctor, and trying to get the other two to understand that as well. So, would you two like to scan me with your own eyes?
With your permission, Captain. And Lorian is going to extract his tricorder, which is a little more advanced. It's not a medical tricorder like Dr. Martinez's, but still, 100 years, I figure that should probably make up for it. I would like to basically scan everybody and then offer the doctor the tricorder so he can see the results. Of course, if I accidentally find the alien here, that may significantly change things.
He will look at the tricorder and say, it's your data set is a little more advanced, but the outcome is the same.
109 years of advancement.
I look at Mallory.
And how do we know that this alien is not able to evade our scanners? The alien can take the form of anyone.
You're going to have to start believing in each other again.
That is a hard ask, Captain.
Well,
we have lost members of this crew as a result.
Serving in Starfleet includes hard asks, and I'm asking you all to step up and become the officers you once were and realize I'm in command and I am trying to get you all out of this mess.
All right.
Done so without even using an ounce of force.
So we say here, none of us here are aliens. What's your plan? How do we get out?
All right, so I go through the plan.
And just so the GM's clear on the plan,
Photon the hell out of this thing.
You are trying to establish communications with the Lexington so they can open fire on this thing and blow stuff up.
Precisely.
There will be some deliberation, I say. Very well. We'll try your plan. And Takashi, he will say, I suspect that your communique will not get out to your ship. It is very likely that it will be affected by time dilation.
Well, then, would you put your brain together with my science officer, and perhaps the two of you can come up with a solution? That's what we ask Starfleet science officers to do. So go and do it.
He will say, "Very well, Captain. Where is your science officer?"
I'm right over here. Panel falls open.
Thought you were on a different deck, adjusting.
Glorian
yeah,
will,
that's right.
yeah, well, Glorian will interrupt and say, "EDEC, he is looking to see if he can utilize your navigation deflector dish."
So once you come to an agreement, we'll try and wrap this up quickly. Once you come to an agreement, each of the officers will announce over the comm for all their relative factions to stand down and work together with solving this immediate issue. And can I get science rolls from Psylocke, Dallas, and I roll for Takashi? He will succeed, so you have at least two, but one
Oh man,
plus for assist. If Psylocke succeeds, you can get another plus for assist.
Which one? Which role?
You can just use science, or you can use electronics, ops, communications, whichever is better.
well, in this case, he might be able to get away
Inventor.
with the inventor because he's trying to rig something up completely new.
Or inventor, yeah.
Or repurpose something that already
Hey,
exists.
you didn't say that. You didn't say that correctly, Brian. You have to include the exclamation point at the end.
Okay, so Dallas, you will have +2 on this roll.
You know what I'm hoping to see here.
Critical fail.
And science. Science!
Nice.
Nope. Damn. By 12. Margin crit. Nice.
Dual frequency. One on the electromagnetic spectrum, the other on the subplanckian oscillations.
No. This one goes here. That one goes there.
That's how we get around the time dilation.
Okay, so you believe you have a solution to get this message out.
And we're totally going to end with a cliffhanger with Ash getting jumped by the alien. And now the alien is Ash.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what is your message going to be? Open fire.
Target that explosion and fire. So whenever he finally makes contact with the OIC, the OIC will come back and says, "Hey, we detected an object at the center of the wormhole," and he'll say, "Captain has given us authorization. Fire torpedoes at that thing until it goes away."
Yep, that sounds good.
They'll say,
I agree.
"Aye, sir," and you will assume that firing is to take place. How that's going to work with time dilation and all that sort of stuff, I'm not sure.
Well, our
Look at
ship
those
is in the
torpedoes
situation
going
as well.
super slow.
Okay, since you've come up with an entirely different solution, give me a moment to just rejigger this a little bit.
Excellent. When in doubt, fire a photon torpedo. That's the moral of this story.
Well, what is it that Montgomery Scott said? His best idea of diplomacy is a fully charged phaser bank.
There you go.
You are going about whatever business you're doing at this time, and then you will hear. Okay, this is not the right klaxon, but I have no idea. I don't recall
That's
what
totally not right.
I don't recall what the
It should
NX
be the read
klaxon
alert.
was.
Sounds good to me.
That will go off.
They don't have it listed.
The comms will open up, and you will hear the distressed voice of a crewman crackle over the intercom. They will say, "There is a reactor breach, and I can't stop the containment collapse because all the controls have been rerouted to the command center."
And Lorian is going to turn and run towards what's his name, Ash, to grab the weapon and head towards the command center. I think we know where our alien is.
Where was the command center? That was D-Deck,
D-Deck.
wasn't it? That's number 7. Is that right?
Sorry, I don't have it necessarily open. I'd have to look
What
again.
was that? The computer core?
Command
No,
center.
it's a command center. Where's the hell?
Oh, no, that was not number 7. That was sort of southwest of it. I don't have it open either, but
I do.
we
It's next
pinged
to
it at
14.
one point.
It's next to number 14.
On D-Deck?
Yep.
Where's 14? There. So let me just stick you there. I'll just do this for convenience. On arriving at the command center, you will see that the door is locked, and you can
Alright.
see through the, I guess, the viewport.
Oh, it's Lou, is it?
Have we met Lou?
You may have, may not have. You haven't specifically spoken to him, but you might have met in passing. He will approach the viewport. Give me a perception roll, please, Lorian, or observation, whichever's high.
By 0.
Give me an IQ roll as well, please.
Also by 0.
You will be able to see that there is a slight strangeness to his eyes. It's like they very slightly illuminated. Certainly not normal eyes.
The alien intruder, I presume.
Through the glass there, he says, "I'm sorry, but this is the only way. I never meant for any of this to happen. You must believe me. I never wanted to hurt anyone. But you humans, all you do is hurt each other, and that which you do not understand. But even though you've hunted me like an animal, I harbor no hatred to you or your kind. I am a scientist, a peaceful explorer, and if I could save your lives, I would. Please take comfort in the knowledge that your sacrifice will save millions of lives on countless worlds."
Okay. Has the photon torpedoes hit anything, or did they just go off into space?
Well, there's nothing happening just yet because of time dilation and stuff. Convenient excuse to give you plenty of plot time to engage with this alien.
There is no need to sacrifice everyone present. Did I hit the right button when I said that?
Yes, you did.
Who else is here, or is it just Lorian and this dude?
That's whoever wants to be here. But there is there's going to be a containment breach imminent unless controls can be fixed.
Right. Yeah, so if there's anybody who's actually more diplomatic,
User disconnected
scrambling
from
up.
your channel.
What just happened?
FX had to take off.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you keep slacking and dragging. We see how it is. Yeah, so if there are additional, or if the captain is present, I'm definitely going to let him go into diplomacy mode. But otherwise, it's going to be very interesting with Lorian trying to go, look, dude, I'm not human, but I do understand your concerns about how aggressive other alien species are. But Starfleet is trying to evolve. So help
Sounds
us
good.
help you.
Sounds good to me.
He says, "But you do not understand."
Then explain it to me.
He says, "I created a gravity drive, the first of its kind, so that my people could finally leave the confines of our solar system. While testing this prototype, the drive malfunctioned and it created this wormhole. My vessel is the beating heart of this anomaly that plagues us both. The gravity drive is perpetually imploding and exploding. I had to abandon my ship, but unfortunately, I discovered that my life form is incompatible with your universe. I was dying. Fortunately for myself, the Atlantis brought me on board, and I had to absorb one of its crew to save myself. But right now, I need to destroy my ship. If I do not, the gravitational forces will continue to grow, and it could encompass countless worlds beyond this star system. The only way is to detonate this vessel's matter antimatter core. My actions here will ensure that your universe is protected and mine too. I'm sorry.
There are other options here.
What options? I see none.
If we can evacuate the crew from this ship, and Ramius and Dallas should chime in with additional ideas if they have any. We could we use the tractor beam on ours, but reverse it? No, I've seen them do that before.
To do what
Push
exactly?
push Atlantis towards the ship. Not everybody needs to die. I don't even think you need to die.
Since we are on borrowed time here, I'm going to say now is about the time that several photon torpedoes begin detonating at the center of this this wormhole.
So we clearly made it worse.
Let's have the universe decide.
Come on, universe.
Sure, you really want to do that?
Do it, universe. Make it better. The universe doesn't care.
Universe says, yeah, whatever.
The universe is cold and indifferent.
Well, it's on the good side of cold and indifferent.
All right, let's just say the from an external camera cutscene, you see these torpedoes moving at an incredibly slow speed. Well, actually, from your point of view, it'd be really fast.
Mm-hmm.
They just suddenly appear, and there are several explosions, one after the other, and eventually there is a massive explosion.
Now, how is Ensign Lou Mendola reacting to that?
He will say, "What is happening?"
That's us resolving the situation without killing everybody.
Photon torpedoes? You're trying to explode the thing in the center, right?
It is about this time that all sort of weirdness on board the ship will stop as the wormhole will collapse, and
now we're in the Delta Quadrant.
of course you are.
And it's like, yeah, we have no idea what happens to the Lexington. We're stuck on this old school NX class.
So the wormhole will collapse, at which point you will receive a message through your comm. Captain, are you hearing this?
Yes.
It appears whatever the object was in the center of the wormhole was destroyed. The wormhole has since collapsed.
Excellent. Well done.
We have full control of our engines and are returning to standard orbit. What is
Very
your
good.
situation?
Maintain that orbit. Wait out. So I turn to the crew and say, "Get to your stations. I want status reports immediately."
And stop that reactor meltdown.
Well, that reactor meltdown is still going to take place because controls are locked out to the command center. Caitlin says, unfortunately, we took damage to the bridge. The bridge is open to the vacuum of space.
They should have a secondary bridge somewhere.
Probably.
Actually, I'm not sure if they officially...
You will need to convince Lou that it's all over and that he can
Take a
release
look at
controls.
The sensors. This is the command center. You have access to the sensors. Take a look at what you see there.
He will go and press some buttons, and he says there's a sort of a sigh, and he takes a deep breath. He will press some buttons.
You wanted to detonate the matter-antimatter reactor. Well, we used matter-antimatter weapons instead.
He presses some buttons, at which point you will hear the voice from the crackly voice at engineering saying, "I have control. I'm containing the reactor breach." And then the Ensign Lou will step to the door and press a button. It will unlock and open. He says, "I'm sorry for what has transpired here. Unfortunately, I cannot get home. And if I leave this body, I will die.
Well then, for the time being, you are still this body. Who is it?
Ensign Lou Mendeley.
Very well, Ensign. Is
This guy.
Lorian actually the only one who was there?
I'm not sure who was there. I think the captain was there.
We are going to short this all out in good time. For now, let's get the vehicle, or let's get our ships into orbit around this planet. Let's get this ship into working order and report to Starfleet.
Yes, the crew has a lot of catching up to do, and we might be able to find a way to send you back home.
Not to mention there's probably going to be some court-martials and stuff in order because a large number of the crew have been potentially murderized by other members of the crew.
Very possibly.
Yeah, there'll be a big court martial of some kind, and some of these people will be exonerated.
I suspect what you're talking about is having a board of inquiry.
All right, and that's where we leave it.
Is that
They
a board you whack them with until they give you the answers?
Right.
And that was an entirely different ending to this.
Yeah, I think
But it worked.
I think several of us were going, yeah, he's going, oh crap.
That was
At
actually
the end of the day,
a
Just shoot a
reasonable
torpedo.
idea to get a communique out and use photon torpedoes.
Yep.
I figured if the warp core of an NX could destroy the alien ship, then photon torpedoes probably could.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I can totally see where you're going.
Anyway,
shiny.
that's where we'll leave it. 2 points for everyone.
Excellent.
I will add 2 points to Psylocke. Well, Psylocke has 11 unspent.
Meanwhile, I'm spending them as soon as I get them, because I'm going, crap, I really should have had that skill.
I've got 13 points.
You should give them all to me.
Sure.
Well, I would have had 12, but I spent a bunch.
And now the mystery of the disappearance of the USS Atlantis is not so mysterious.
Indeed.
Well, the records have to get lost or it won't be a mystery.
I guess this ship will go into a museum.
Cool.
Right. Well, we'll leave it there. And next session will be the beginning of the end.
I think Ensign Lou's going to be on the Lexington then.
Quite possibly the end of
Because we're like, picking up all of these super weird aliens. We got the alien that was from the extragalactic thing, and now we've got him.
We got a little zoo going. And a possessed admiral.
A possibly possessed admiral.
Possibly.
I don't think the Admiral's possessed. I think the Admiral's genuinely trying to do good, but could be possessed.
Yep, probably possessed.
All right, where's my outro? Any questions before we wrap it up?
Negative.
Negative.
All right, if you are watching this and you have questions, corrections, suggestions, or general hecklings, feel free to leave a comment here or find us on Discord. Please consider liking and subscribing to our YouTube and Twitch channels. Thank you for watching. Olympus out.
See ya.